Morning, everybody. Here's your book today. We've been talking about space all week on Class Dojo. If you want to see the other books we've read, go on that. But today we're going to look at space shuttles, and this is what your work is going to be about, space shuttles. Okay. Now let's go over our parts of a book. Front cover, back cover, spine. Take my one finger and I underline the title. Now, look at this. Nowhere on here is there an author. And the illustrator, really, there's no illustrator. These are done with, do you think this is fiction or nonfiction? I'll give you a hint. Nonfiction. So these mostly have, if you look, the book is filled with, are these drawings? Nope. These are photographs, aren't they? Yes, because a nonfiction book means not fake or real, like as in information. Let's look at this really quickly. That's my barcode, remember? That's what Mrs. Nielsen scans it so you can take it out of the library. And then down here, I want to point out something right here. I have to get it really close. There we go. Do you see it says 629.4? Okay. And then it says SEX, which is the author's last part of the author's last name. But that 624, that's the way we find books on the nonfiction side. So this is something new. So when we talk about nonfiction, we talk about things that are not fake. And we use numbers to organize that part of the library. What do you notice that is in common with all these things? We've got nonfiction, not fake, and numbers. Are you all saying the letter N? Yeah, they all begin with the letter N. So let's begin our book, though. So remember how I said this is number 629. So that's in the science section. Okay. The author, now we see the author's name, and she's the same author that we've seen before. Her name is Colleen Sexton, and she used this person named Dwayne Quam, and I hope I'm saying his name correctly. And he is the specialist that she used because she's an author. She doesn't know everything. She's not an astronomer. She's not a space scientist. She doesn't know everything there is, but she's writing books. So she consults or talks to somebody who does know everything. So let's begin. Here's our nonfiction feature, which is our table of contents. We're going to learn about what are space shuttles, launching space shuttles in orbit, and landing space shuttles. So first it's got to come up and then it's got to come down, right? Okay, let's go. Oh, and then the glossary and to learn more and index. We'll talk about those at the end. But this is our table of contents. It tells us what we're going to read in the book. So let's begin. Space shuttles are spacecraft. Do you see it right there? They carry people into space and bring them back to Earth. So that's where all the astronauts live when they're on the space shuttle. Space shuttles launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Thousands of people prepare for a shuttle to launch. And do you see it there? It's actually going up. Now, if you notice, there's no flame coming from the space shuttle, but there's rockets kind of like right here and right here. Those are making it go up. So there's about 4 parts here. And we're going to talk about each of the 4 parts. Actually, more than 4, but we're going to talk about some of them. How's that? Sorry, you can hear my dog barking. Workers connect a large fuel tank to the shuttle. The fuel powers the main engines during the launch. So there's that big orange. That is the large fuel tank. And there you see it right there, right? Workers connect 2 solid rocket boosters. You see these are the rocket boosters to the fuel tank. The boosters help lift the shuttle into place. So this really isn't firing anything until it gets to space. It's these boosters that push it into space, and they use the fuel from that fuel tank. Isn't that cool? A huge machine called a crawler. And you see it? It's right down here. Why do you think it's called a crawler? What does crawl mean, right? When you're a baby, you crawl. So this crawler moves the space shuttle to the launch pad. So this big tower is the launch pad, and this is the crawler. It's bringing it over there. Crawler. I'm saying crawler. The shuttle crew is ready. The main engines start, and the solid rocket boosters roar. Can you imagine how much sound that must be? So there's the solid rocket boosters, and notice the flames and smoke coming out of them, and they're getting the fuel from the fuel tank. The space shuttle lifts into the air and speeds towards space. The fuel tank and the solid rocket boosters break away and fall back to the Earth. So, the large fuel tank breaks away and comes back to the Earth. Our solid rocket boosters break away. And the only thing that actually goes up into space, everybody, is the space shuttle. Yes. The space shuttle orbits the Earth. It circles the planet once in 90 minutes. So it goes all the way around the Earth in 90 minutes, which is like if you were sitting in Mrs. Nielsen in the library with me, and we did a whole library class, and then we did a half a library class. So it goes pretty fast. The space shuttle has 3 main parts. The front part is the flight deck. Pilots sit there to fly the shuttle. Look at all the controllers and buttons. Can you imagine knowing all of those things? The crew lives below the flight deck. They float from place to place because there is little gravity in space. Could you imagine? They don't walk. They float. That would be cool, wouldn't it? The crew works in the middle part of the shuttle. They might do experiments or fix satellites in the cargo bay. And there's that cargo bay. So do you see them? They're out in space right now. They have their special space suits on, and they're working on things in the cargo bay. The cargo bay's doors can open. The crew uses a robot arm to move satellites into or out of the cargo bay. And there's that robot arm. So it can grab something and then put it out into space. Cool. Sometimes the cargo bay carries parts to build or fix a space station. And you see that space station? We're going to read about that. That's called the International Space Station. So here is our space station or space shuttle, and it's got parts or pieces that they're going to bring to the International Space Station. The back part of the shuttle has 3 main engines. 1, 2, 3. It also has 2 smaller engines. Can you find the smaller engines? Do you see them there? 1, 2. So 3 large main ones and 2 small ones. Why do you think it needs engines? It is time to leave the orbit. The pilot uses the small engines, remember the 2 small ones, to shuttle back to Earth. The wings, notice those big long wings like an airplane. The wings help the shuttle glide through the air. The rudder helps it steer. See that on the back? That goes back and forth and it helps to steer because they have to land in a certain spot, right? They wouldn't be landing on your block, would they? No, most definitely not. The space shuttle makes long S-shaped turns to slow down. A drag parachute opens behind the shuttle when it lands. The drag parachute helps the brakes bring the space shuttle to a stop. The shuttle is home again. Welcome back. And there we have. So how many people are on this space shuttle mission? Do you count? Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 people were living on that together. You think you'd like to do that? Now here is our glossary. Now, if you've been following Mrs. Nielsen on Class Dojo, sorry about the phone. I get many, many emails and texts. Here's all if we need to look up an important word like orbit. Orbit means travels around the sun or other object in space. So the Earth is in orbit around the sun. The moon is in an orbit around the Earth. And the space shuttle can go in an orbit around the Earth. So here's our learn more if we want to find more books at the library, or here's on the web. And I'm going to give you that web page. Now, boys and girls, here is your assignment for today. I have got a worksheet for you. And I'm hoping mom and dad can maybe help you with it. You just have to label the parts on the space shuttle that I have for you. Okay? Well, I hope everybody has a good day. Enjoy your lesson. If you can't do the interactive worksheet, then just have mom or dad maybe type a comment or something and say, we looked at the book and thank you, Mrs. Nielsen, or just something like that. We watched the video. Okay. You guys have a good day. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Mrs. Nielsen's losing it. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.